This is our topic, cooking with Python. Before moving further, we are indeed world's #1 job search site, and our mantra is we help people get jobs. So, my name is Subhas. I'm from Hyderabad office. I'm a software engineer. Uh, I'm a guitarist. Running is my passion, and I cook. And that's my cutie pie Shaina, my niece. Her hobby is running, and making us all tired. And she's not my daughter, so I'm not that old. Uh, so this is Yosef. Um, sorry.
Automation engineer from the Tokyo office. I'm automation engineer from the Tokyo office. I like sport, cooking. This is ours. He likes to play with Legos.
Okay, so since we both cook, this is not about really about cooking. Let me give you the brief context on this discussion, what we are trying to have it right now. So this is about Indeed is an open culture. Anybody can come up with new ideas and we can pitch it. Let's say you want to work on a startup or you want to start a startup. So this is the journey of an idea to become a successful product. And in that, how Python is helping us inside Indeed to do that. So the context is that cooking with Python in order to make a beautiful recipe of the new good product. So as I said, Indeed always supports new ideas for everyone. So whenever new college grads come, they don't work in a team. So they basically group together, come up with an idea, and Indeed funds them. They work on that idea, and then we decide what to do. So like that, even hackathons are there, and one of the option is like Indeed incubator. So what we do over here is anybody in Indeed having new idea, they just pitch it in. So since we are a data-driven company, if you have an idea, intuition is there, that's not enough. So you have to back it up with a new data if we already have, or you can spin up an environment, ship it to production, get the things done. So once that is done, then we'll go with it. So this is like a small startup where you project your thesis and get funding and work on it. So we don't consider any product success or failure. Everything is an experiment. So this applies anywhere in the startup. So everything is an experiment. We learn something. So we don't have to worry about whether it succeeds or failures from the beginning itself. Okay. So if you take any startup, right, this is the mantra we should follow, and this is what we are following in India as well. So fail fast and learn faster. So repetitively produce the code instead of waiting for, oh, I need to build a smart system, modularized, and then ship it after 1 month. Ship it iteratively. Then we'll get to know how the users are reacting there and collect the data then and there and then analyze it. So this helps us in even pivoting the ideas if it is required. This is Python conference. Why am I talking about startups? It doesn't make any sense. So the thing is, let's take an example. So this was one of our idea called as Indeed People, where it's like matching two people using the resume, something like Tinder. But this idea was built in sprints, and we college grads built this in Spring. It took us 2 weeks to build the first iteration and ship it to the production over there. Since the learning curve was huge, and we got to know that people are not reacting however we wanted. So the pivoting was very difficult, and this did not get funded. The same thing, one more team built a software called as Indeed Placements. It's like a software for recruitment drive what happens in the college. So they built it in Django, and they were able to ship this thing to the production within 5 days. And their idea got changed so many times. Like they thought they'll help students, they'll help colleges. They iterated so much, their velocity was 6 times more than Indeed people. And this was a successful product. Various factors are there, but Django or Python selection was one of the major reasons because of which they were able to ship it faster. Whenever you have an idea, don't think about complex tech stack in the beginning. So how was Python useful for us? So we thought of using MVT framework of Django, where we fully loaded it with a lot of libraries, like login libraries, web UI, and everything all together. And even in a web app, you just say that any person has a new idea, they come there, they create their web app, where you get Django framework, which has been integrated with the Jenkins build framework, so they don't have to worry about build. And we have our in-house cloud, which was built on Apache Mesos. So to keep it simple, everything was pipelined. You write a code, So everything will be shipped to QA, production, all the things are done. If you have an idea, just code my idea, that's it. You don't have to worry about any configurational issues, how to set up this. No. So this is how you make your life easy. Keep everything simple and make easy for others. So MVP is minimal viable product. Let's say you built it, you shipped it, collected the data, reiterated it every time, and then you got to know that, okay, this is my product and this is my idea. Now we should make it production ready. A lot of traffic, so many people. So how do we do it? So there are a lot of factors which comes in, like scaling, event monitoring, refactoring, making better UI. Scaling, whenever we talk about let's build something in Django, everyone has a myth that no, Django cannot be scaled. Think about Instagram, it is there. Python is very slow, you can't scale it. No. If you use cloud system like what we used, you can scale horizontally, one thing. And you can also use caches like Redis cache or mem cache or anything like that, or even queuing systems in order to make your life much easier. And when I say like that, even I'll talk about these things. Event monitoring. You have, as and when we grow, it is very important to collect all the information and act then and there. So Sentry is what we heard about in the morning. So Sentry is a place where you can collect the exceptions and handle it. Datadog is something which we can use where to monitor the things. And Google Analytics is one thing which is available for everyone, where people can understand how the user is using your product, right? So all these things, when I say, oh, integration is so hard, but if you're using Django and Python, right, and add some wrapper layer around it, it's just one line in our code. Enable this, enable this, enable this, and done. So basically, integration things in Python makes our life so easy, and so it always helps us in going in a faster iteration, maintaining the quality, and also making sure that everything is stable. Easy refactoring is one thing where Python and Django always helps us. So as and when we grow, right, while building MVP, we'll be in a hurry and we'll try to ship faster. There could be a possibility that we might take a compromise in the beginning stages. But as and when we grow, it is very important to refactor our code. So it doesn't mean that we should refactor it. There should be a call on everything. We should always make sure that we maintain the quality. It is very important. That doesn't mean you block a ticket for 10 days saying that according to the rule or something, you should not do that. So always make sure that your velocity is good, but also make sure that maintenance is, refactoring is important to maintain the quality, which is much easier in Django. So this is somewhere related to the previous point. Every time, whenever say Django, everyone says model, view, template, everything is there. But we have to think of something hatke, I mean, outside the box. So we thought React is one framework everybody's talking about, where it's a JavaScript library built by Facebook, which is a single-page web app and all. So we thought, why can't we integrate Django with React? So React is a web framework. Django already has web pages. So how can we do it? So what we did is, basic Bible rule of Django is MVT. We just truncated T. We don't need it. So it remains us with only model and view, where we made sure to make it as a service-based or API-based. So it's not only like that. We broke one more rule, which is React is always single-page web app. But we grouped it logically and made it multiple page web apps. Like if you have employee-related software, employee-related pages come together, department one side, admin page one side. So we broke two important rules, but it is fine for us. This helped us in making the backend and web app as a separate thing, where you can deploy it in a separate places, easy to maintain, easy to handle, everything is good. But there is also one more important advantage, which is you can make it talk to other services. So usually whenever we build something in Python or Django, individually the small products, it is good. But when we club together, it becomes a very powerful tool to solve a very big problem. Let's take an example. In Indeed, we have a tool to take the interviews, collect the data, and check whether we can hire or not the candidate. We also have a tool in Django where we help in onboarding a person to become an employee. We also have a tool for the performance, like what is the quarterly review and how do we calibrate and quarterly bonus. So everything is done in Django. Also, we have something to maintain the career map of the employee so that we can understand what is the career map and how can we help it. So everything is completely different, yet they are dependent. So what we thought, since we used the previous version of API related connection, we were able to connect everything in a feedback loop. So this made a wonder of we can predict the potential candidate just in interview because we have all the data, you can run data analysis over there, and we can know, okay, this person can be a good fit. This person is good in this particular team. We can do a lot of data analysis. In fact, we solved the major problem of HR suite. So this is the power of Python, Django, and this is how we are doing in Indeed in order to make sure that our product is successful. So this is not it. We have to think about testing as well, which is very important topic, which my friend Yosef will be talking about. Over to you, Yosef.
Hello again, everybody. So I'm a QA engineer from the Tokyo office in Indeed, and we use Python for testing. Why Python? So Python very readable and very easy, which means a very short learning curve. In the Tokyo office, we had a 2 weeks training for the QA engineers. After this 2 weeks training, we had an increase of 100% in the automation effort, which of course make the product more robust. Why Python again? It's easy to read, easy to code review. You have a better code. Go down. Thank you. Python is easy, but yet very powerful. We took advantage out of that to make a very powerful in-house libraries as a Selenium wrapper. So we wanted a platform to scale. Today we have in this platform above of 30 projects and above of 1,000 tests that are running on Jenkins. Easy to integrate with. You can just write a test and integrate it with the platform. And it makes it easy to contribute to automation. So we came up with Shield. It's empowered by Python and PyTest. Why PyTest? Again, it's very easy. You can write a very simple test with PyTest, yet to scale to a very functional, complicated test. So we had a Selenium wrapper. When you do UI automation in Indeed, you use Selenium. So in order to use Selenium, you need several things to define an environment, to know if it's local or remote. You need a browser, you need a URL, and inside the URL, the web page that you supplied, you need to interact with certain object according to the test case. So we wrote a library that by a flag you can tell which environment you're working with, and we exposed an interface with the browsers that we support. After you give the URL, you had a very friendly methods to interact with the page. And what left to do is just to verify that the behavior is right. We also have backend testing. So we have a non-HTTP protocols services in Indeed. Services that in order to talk to, you have to have a Java client in order to maintain a very complex protocol. So in order to test that with Python, we came up with an interface that you supply the name of the service to this interface, and you build a request with a JSON format. You submit a request to the interface connect to a mock Java client that know how to talk to those services. And in the way back, it translates back the response to a JSON format. The original format is a protobuf, by the way. And what ends to do is just to verify that the right behavior is there according to the test case. REST API automation. So we have also an HTTP services in Indeed. So we wrote a very friendly client that if you want to test some service, you take a very friendly methods that you supply some params to and easily interact with those services. The client will use the request library, of course, which is very powerful and no need to rewrite this library. And you will get back the data. And again, what left to do is just to verify your data. So for summary, in Indeed, we could improve automation in such a way that if somebody wants to automate, he just needs to know what to automate to take the data back and to assert upon the test case if the data is right or not.
Okay, so as they said that, what is the takeaway of whatever we discussed now? A lot of the things, whatever we said, is indeed specific, but it can be applied anywhere. For example, if you want to work in any organization or anywhere, fail fast, learn faster, collect data, repeat those things iteratively, then you can succeed. Then don't get attached to the code all the time, saying, oh, this is my code, or anything like that. Sometimes you have to refactor it, sometimes you have to change the idea, sometimes you have to revamp the whole code base itself. It is okay. We have to only think about what is the vision of the product and what are we serving, which is very important, not the code. And take a call on when to refactor. What I mean is, it is very important to go in a speed, which is good. Even product managers will ask, can you develop this feature in 2 days, 3 days? Yes. In the same time, it is very important to make sure we follow the design patterns, we follow all the things. But there should be a take on call on when to do what is the necessity, when to repeat it, or when to keep the things modular. And it is always important to make sure that we don't write 2 lines of code doing the same job, which is always important. If you see something can be reusable, take it out, put it as a library or a package, and then reuse it. That is how you make sure your code is improved in quality, and also other people can do it because of velocity. And don't hesitate to break the law. Like in MVT, we removed T. In React single page, we made it multi-page. So those are just guidelines saying that this is how you can use it. That doesn't mean you have to use it in that way. Try to do out of the box. It is okay to break the law. When I say okay to break the law, even build is okay, not the production ones. So always make sure that you are okay to go out of box and try to tweak the things and work on it. And Python can be used to test anything. Like Yosef said, our whole thing is in Java, and there is no HTTP or any protocol itself to talk to by other languages. But still, we were able to manage just because the powerfulness of Python. Because of time, we were not able to talk about a lot of things like how do we do data analysis, how do we do machine learning, how do we ship it. Everything which can be done inside Indeed, whatever we are doing, it's in Python, and then convert it into Java because it's just hyperparameters. And as Yosef said, I think he's the best person to talk to regarding this.
Yeah, so the main idea is to make things simple. Once you make things simple, you can run faster. That's the whole idea. And with Python, you can do that.
So because of this, every manual QA in our industry or in our Indeed, they always try to write a piece of code because all the Selenium part, hectic part has been done by a wrapper. All they do is, okay, this is my test case. This is how I need to do it. They just know what to call the functions, that's it. They don't worry about the internal details, which makes them easy to the first step as a programmer. Once they do it, once they become comfortable, then they can go inside and use page object models and all the other terms. And the last part, which is the mantra of Indeed, and it applies to everyone. Intuition is better, but, sorry, I'm very sorry. Intuition is good, but data is always better, in fact, the best. Whatever decisions you take, even in your organization or even in your features, everywhere, try to log the informations, collect the data, and try to identify the success of that product based on that. Like you log something, you get something, and try to identify, okay, DAU and WAU, my friends, are old versions. You can't say that daily active user is my metric. That is bullshit. It should be always something more where are you adding the delivery, whatever feature or whatever the product we are building, and the metric should be how are we doing it. Let's say I help people get jobs. So my metric should be how many people got hired using my product. So that is how the metric should be, always rely on your data, and that is how you should do it. So these are the things what we follow in Indeed, and these are few things we have to mention. Please come by our booth in the hall and register yourself and get a chance to win 1+6. And because of the time crunch, we were not able to talk about all the things whatever I mentioned, like how can we log it, how can we build data analysis, how do we do in Indeed. And there are a lot of other experts more than me who can give you more guidance. So this Thursday at 6, we have a discussion about drinks and food in Trident. This is the website. Please go there and register yourself. And we would like to know more about your culture, your work experience, and we would like to share ours. So you're all invited for Trident 6 on this Thursday. Having said that, thank you, and again, rely on your data. Thanks a lot.
Thanks.